Hey, good afternoon, everyone. We've got no pre-submitted questions today. Okay, hey, everyone, you got Will here today. Go ahead, and there are no pre-submitted questions, so I will patiently wait for the group to ask. So if you have a question, you can use the chat, you can use Q&A, or you can reuse raise hand, and I will call on you and try my best to answer. Ragnu, what's up, man? What you got?
Hey, Will. So I have a workflow that uses a named session.
Okay.
When a user goes to the URL to start that form and that process,
Okay.
and then they don't complete the form, they just close the browser tab, and then they try to log into Decisions as a regular user. They end up with an error message. Well, error message is a strong word.
So they can use a named session and have a user account?
Yeah. So when they close that tab and then go to log in, it says business rule, user name session does not have permissions to use the portal.
Yeah, there's a, what do we call this thing? Clear session name sessions. There's a URL parameter you want to include. And clear session equals true.
Okay.
So if you have if there's a scenario where a user could log in, but also can use a named session, Decisions is going to like save a cookie for that named session on the browser, right? Which means it's when they switch context, it's still trying to use named session. Clear session should prevent that cookie and that user context from being saved onto that user's browser session.
Okay.
If it's not working, that's a bug, but that is what that parameter is intended to support.
No, that's the difference, because it's working in dev but not in prod. Now that I look at the URLs, yep, that's it. I have clear session equals true. Thanks, Will.
You bet, man. I'm glad I could actually answer one for you. It's been a little while.
Appreciate it. See you, man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And here we go. We have Rita. There used to be a basic grid setup step in Decisions version 6, but in version 8, it does not exist. What is the appropriate step to replace the original grid step? Would it be grid layout? Are you talking about creating a form, Rita?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's look at a form here. If I can find the create folder button. The grid should be the grid. We have depreciated our old grid and replaced it with a newer grid. So here's a form. And then here's a grid. And if we look at the root level, we should see container type is grid layout. And then if you look at layouts, you should see grid layout. So your question is, yeah, original. So I'm not sure. We did have an old grid that we depreciated. Grid layout is the replacement for that. It should function the same though. It just doesn't use, it uses, it's not as HTML table dependent for it to generate the grid content itself. So it's a bit more future proof, if you will.
Okay. So just one thing though. So if, we were to update a solution from 6 to 8, those old grid steps are still going to be there like that. It won't cause issues.
If it does, that's a DT. It's a defect on our part. But yes, it should. You can upgrade without needing to swap out or redesign your forms to use the new grid type. It's just that when you create a new form, you won't have that grid layout option available. Like it's hidden from the designer, but not hidden from the at runtime, if you will.
Okay. Because I guess the forms that we've migrated, like they look fine. There's a couple grids though that did become distorted. So I guess for those, would it just be replacing those with the grid layouts?
Possibly. It's hard to say, sort of, kind of, make such a broad statement, but it's possible. Or there might be something specific that we didn't account for in our testing that's causing those to behave badly.
Okay.
But yes, you did. There is no expectation that you redesign all of your grid-based forms after you upgrade or as a part of your upgrade. There's been no great requirement for customers to do that work. I'm not saying there's not been none, but it's not something that we've been.
Okay. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. All right, that's all of our questions for today, and we got a pretty small crew, so let me know if you guys have anything. Mhm. Right, Adrian, I think we'll go ahead and call it. So tomorrow we have Jared, and Thursday we have Andrew. Thanks everyone that joined today. We will see you same time tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.